Hey, we're live again, and it's The Unapologetic Man, episode 10. I'm Tim Wade from Tim Wade Coaching, and I'm really glad that you're watching this. As you may have noticed, tonight's episode is entitled You Complete Me and Other Romantic BS. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, about the line of the bill of goods that we've been sold through the movies and the songs and the romance novels and all of those things and the poems. And the truth is, they all lied. Yeah, I'm sorry to break it to you, but they did. And for anybody who's a really big fan of Jerry Maguire, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It's an okay movie. It's not bad. But that last part, you complete me, really. It's as if two partial people are wandering around just hoping to find that other piece that will make them into what? One whole person? That's the very definition of codependence, if there ever was one. It's the idea that without you, I don't exist, and vice versa. And it's just BS. I mean, that's all there is to it. Healthy relationships have to do with when two, relatively whole people get together and partner. Now, when that happens, then there's magic. There can be anyway. Then you can create something, this third thing that's like the relationship. It's the thing that you are creating together from a place of wholeness. Hey, I want to say hi to some people. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Dennis. Ed and Eddie Hunt. Hi, Nikki Brown. We haven't talked in a long time. And Hal, you're back. Good to see you. Anyway, so that's the thing. This you complete me, or I can't live without you, or I'm nothing without you. Now it sounds very romantic and all manner of mush, but in reality, you don't want to be with someone who can't live without you. That is about as suffocating as I can imagine a situation. In fact, a lot of times I tell my clients, I said, you can't live with her until you learn to live without her. That when you have the choice, knowing that, you know what, if something were to happen, and I don't mean just divorce, or a breakup. I mean, that's one thing. But, people, there are widows and widowers in the world. They lose their spouse. And what are you going to do? Are you going to die? Are you going to, you may feel like that for a while. I know when my father died, my mom was very depressed, but she went on. She moved, she kept living. And so, again, when two healthy, relatively whole people get together to partner, now you got something going on. And the thing of it is that there's this idea that another person can make you happy. And you may have heard the idea that, no one can make you unhappy without your permission. Well, guess what? No one can make you happy either. They really can't. Now, there's a caveat. Of course, because I've actually, I've had people say to me, yeah, but she really does make me happy, or he really does make me happy. And I would say what's really going on most of the time when that happens is that person is reflecting back to you your own happiness, and it adds to it. It adds to it. You come with a full cup, and then they are able to add happiness to that and have it just overflow. So the problem is, my daughter just walked in. Hi, Kelsey.
Can I use this?
Yes, you may use that. I love live broadcasts. Anyway, the problem is that a lot of people show up, to a relationship, and they have this bucket that's, labeled happiness, and it's got all these holes in it, right? And so they keep trying to get the other person to fill this bucket. And the happiness just keeps leaking out of it and leaking out. And no matter how much this person tries to fill you up with love and all of these things, it's just never enough. So until you heal the wounds, the holes in your own, happiness bucket, so to speak, no one can ever even plus your happiness. No one's going to come close to making you happy, especially if you're hell-bent on not being happy. Have you ever met anyone like that, where it seems like no matter what you do, they are just bound and determined to be unhappy? And that's kind of how it works. So if you come already feeling like there's a happiness inside of you, and happiness is a thing that comes from you, it's not, I think that in the Constitution, and pardon me, Thomas Jefferson, I know you were brilliant and all that, but the idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness being the things that are the most important. Life, liberty, awesome, I'm on board. Pursuit of happiness, I'm not so sure. In fact, that I think the pursuit of happiness has caused a lot of misery. I think it's the root of addiction. It's just there's something out there, outside of me, that will make me happy. There's something outside. There's whatever it is. It can be alcohol, drugs, or a puppy. And the problem is those things are not certain. They don't, dogs don't last forever. The high of a drug obviously tapers off, and the destruction that it brings so often is miserable. So the happiness comes from in you. You create it. You create the happiness. You create the love. And when you do that, and you partner with someone who also has that going on for them, then it's like alchemy. Then it's like, the catalyst comes together, and it's just like boom, and now you've got even more happiness. So I think your happiness can definitely be plussed, and someone can really add joy to your life. But if you got holes in your bucket, they can't fill them. They can't patch them. They can't. So one of the things I've been thinking about in the last year is just a hypothesis, and that is, what if relationships and marriage, what if the sole reason why they're important is not just to have a family, it's not just to have companionship, it's not just all of those things, but it's to learn how to love? And especially that partnering with someone, marrying someone, is not to get your needs met. Now, how would that change the way you approach your partnership? If you looked at your partnership or your marriage as, I'm not here to get my needs met. I'm going to meet my own needs, but I am here to learn how to love. And if you look at love, I think it was Scott Peck who wrote the Road Less Traveled, and he said that love, real love, is extending beyond yourself for someone else's growth. I think he even says spiritual growth, but it could be all sorts of kinds of growth. But the point is that real love is going beyond you. And so if you're in a marriage and you think, how would I approach this if the point was for me to learn how to love? Kind of the way you do with children, not that you treat your partner as a child, but just, when you have children and you realize, oh, this is all about loving them no matter what, no matter how they act, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, especially if they're teenagers. If you happen to have a teenager, you know what I'm talking about. Just keep on loving them. So I've been thinking about that a lot. And the idea of life itself being an opportunity to love is the core message of the Course of Miracles. For those of you who are familiar with that, I'm just becoming familiar with it. I've known about it, but I've never really delved into it. And again, it's an interesting idea to approach everything as an opportunity to express love, not going in to get. What would your relationship look like if it wasn't based on, I'm going to get mine? Not only that, what if your relationship was based on making sure that your partner, is uplifted? It's what's called being, holding someone in positive regard or high esteem, and that you look at your partner and you say, I hold you up in positive regard as much as I can, as opposed to fault finding. And we're going to talk more about that in another episode about, what happens when you give up trying to find out what's wrong with your partnership and start looking for intentionally what's right about them. I was told really early on, and I was a early, young father, try to catch your kids doing things right, like 5-to-1 ratio. 5 things right, 1 thing to correct, and really do it out loud. Like say, "Oh, that was great. I like the way you did that. I'm happy. Wow, I love the way you." It doesn't matter what it is, but 5-to-1. It's going to be interesting if you approached your marriage like that. Find 5 things every day to acknowledge about your partner that you appreciate, that you like, that you love, that you think is awesome. I think it might change things just a bit, especially for those of us who have gotten into a rut of always seeing the things that annoy us. You've heard this idea that it gets to a point where I just hated the way he breathed. How does it get to that? How does it get to the point where you were madly in love with someone and then 2 decades later, you can't even stand the way he breathes? You wanted to smother him with a pillow. Well, it's because I think the perspective gets kind of skewy. And it'd be great to intentionally say, you know what? I'm going to look for the good stuff. And we'll talk about how that actually works psychologically and how it will shift your life. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. But for now, that's about all the time we have. I want to thank all the people who tuned in, that Ryan and Marcia Mercant. I was just reading a post that you put in up today about your husband, which was so awesome. What a great post that was. And hi, Dan Horner. Alex, how are you? And Kathy, how are you, Kathy? We haven't talked in a long time. So great to see. Hey, Dennis, hi, how are you? So great to see all of you guys. So I'm going to keep doing this and sharing my heart with you and what is up for me right now. I really appreciate you tuning in. Give me some thumbs up or whatever. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you're thinking. That would be really fun to make this a dialogue instead of just a monologue. All right. Have a great night, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.